Given recent events, many of us are now being required to work from home. And for some of you, this might be a first. You may not have worked from home for a considerable period of time, so it might be a little bit unsettling for you. What I wanted to do is share with you some quick tips around how to manage successful online meetings. We're all pretty familiar with turning up to meetings at work in the office, and naturally they've got a dynamic. Sometimes there might be one person on the call, but for now we're actually going to be operating meetings where everybody is online and everybody is virtual. So for many of you may never have run meetings in that environment, so I wanted to give you a quick tips that we've put in place here for our business that have been really effective. Step 1, setting the agenda. Now that may seem like a normal thing you do when you're running a meeting, but it's really important when we're doing digital meetings that we send out that agenda beforehand and let people know how they will be dialing in, whether it's going to be just audio or whether you want them to be dialing in so that they can see your screen and that we can see them. Some calls you might want to set up in a more video environment so that you can share your screen and share notes. So make sure you set that agenda and let them know how they can join onto that meeting and what's expected of them. Step 2, get familiar with technology. Your business probably already has a preferred medium in which you like to do your meetings and conference calls. It could be Zoom, Skype for Business, or Teams, but now you really need to make yourself a little bit more of an expert in those platforms. Don't just expect that you can get onto a meeting straight away and it's going to work. You need to make sure that your headphones are connected, that you can see, and that you're really familiar with how to share your screen, how to ask a question. There's lots of different functionalities in these tools, and it's your job now to become a bit of an expert. Don't wait for the business to give you training. Take some initiative, have a look at the platform that you need to be using, even create a fake meeting if you need to, just so that you can get familiar with the platform so you can become an expert and it won't slow you down. Once you've got everybody in the meeting and everybody's set up ready to go, it's your job to verbalize that agenda and remind people of the purpose of the meeting and what's expected of everybody and what the ideal outcome is. So make sure you verbalize that agenda and get everybody on board. If you're running an online meeting, it's going to be really hard for you to read the room and work out whether someone wants to participate or not, or whether they have an idea and maybe they're trying to speak up but they can't be heard. So for you, you've really got to up your emotional intelligence on these calls and find ways to be calling upon people that are in the meeting and leaving opportunities for people to raise questions, raise concerns, raise their ideas. Again, the tools have a lot of functionality in terms of people being able to raise their hand digitally and also write notes and ask Q&As during those calls. So again, the more comfortable and familiar you get with your platform, the easier you're going to find it is to facilitate those meetings. As you get closer to the end of the meeting, make sure that you really clarify what was discussed, what was agreed upon, and what are the next steps. The real advantage of these virtual online meetings is that you've got an ability to make sure that you're taking notes, but also that you can circulate them afterwards, and you may even be able to have a recording of the meeting for anybody who missed out. So make sure that after the meeting, you still have best practice in terms of emailing everybody who attended, letting them know on what was discussed and what were the outcomes, and what are the next steps. Again, really focusing on accountability. And even in this time where we are all working from home, making sure people are really accountable of what they're responsible for.